Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 73 of our fourth session this year, which is called The Joy of the Spirit. It's a real pleasure to be back here with you. Some of you may recognize me. My name is Poornima. I've been here a few times before. It's always such a profound experience to meditate with you all as you continue deepening into your experience with Sahaja Yoga. There may be a few new people here. If you are new, welcome. Maybe someone who's been coming for a while has invited you. And there's lots of opportunities to catch up on what we're exploring here. You can request an intro to Sahaja Yoga after the program today, or you can message breakout room help or the Zoom host for more information. But we are going to plow forward and explore this really deep topic of the joy of the spirit over the next few sessions here. So you can also always review the course material from previous sessions on our website, and there's recordings available there as well. I just want to remind everyone to go ahead and make sure your foot soak is ready. I think most people know the routine at this point. Dishpan with some warm water, some salt, something to wipe your feet afterwards, and of course that all-important rinse pitcher there. So you can rinse your feet after your foot soak. If you do want a mentor, you can request one, or if you want an additional mentor, you've been working with one person, you'd like to continue working with more people, you can request that. And today we will be exploring this really beautiful topic, and you could say a question of keeping our attention on the spirit, and actually how do we do that? It's really quite an adventurous way to live your life, to keep your attention on your spirit throughout your day. So we'll have a short talk about today's topic. We'll have the foot soak with a guided meditation. We'll have a short talk from Shri Mataji, the founder of Sahaja Yoga, on this topic. And then we'll have some live music and meditation, some nice silent meditation. And then after that, we'll have a little bit of sharing, a chance to ask questions, and we'll just share some of our experience exploring how to keep our attention on our spirits. So without further ado, I'd love to invite Kerry and Kalyan to come on the screen so that they can introduce themselves.
Hello.
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 Hi, nice to see you back again. Here we are. So I'm Kerry from San Francisco, and I'm joining you again. I've come a few times as well, and I'm really excited about this topic as well. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Great to have you here. And Kalyan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Great to be back here. My name is Kalyan Gopalakrishnan. I live in the Hartford area in Connecticut, and I play the violin, as many of you already know. So I'll be playing for the meditation later during the program. Looking forward to it.
We're also looking forward to it very much. It's always very blissful when you play.
For sure.
Beautiful. All right, so I'll just give a very brief introduction to this topic of keeping our attention on the spirit. So this word spirit in English may seem perhaps a little undefined because we use it for so many different things. It refers to a word in Sanskrit, which is the Atma. And I find like an image that helps me understand, kind of feel what we're talking about, is the image of a lamp. So a lamp may have a very beautiful external shape. It may be perfectly carved. It may have beautiful glass panes to it, or whatever kind of lamp it is. But the lamp doesn't really have meaning until there's a light inside of it. So you can think of us as people, that we have this beautiful instrument. We have our intelligence, we have our emotions, we have our bodies, we have our personalities, which are so beautiful and specific. But the thing that illuminates each of us is our spirit. And when we're able to keep our attention on our spirit, we're proposing this to you as a hypothesis to test out, it actually gives meaning to this whole being that we are. And it helps us, it gives us a sense of proportion about everything we encounter in our daily lives. What's actually important? What actually has value? Because when we're aligned with our spirit, we're aligned with what's eternal. And when we can feel that, then it gives us just enough space to sense, even if our attention is getting pulled to these outer things, our work, our family, the phones in our pockets. People talk about an attention economy. Our attention is a really precious thing. If we have this sense of our spirit, it gives us that perspective that can be profoundly protective to our sense of peace and our ability to sustain a meditative state. So this is why this is a step forward as we continue on our exploration of Sahaja Yoga. And for those of you who are new here, I just want to mention that Sahaja Yoga literally means something spontaneous, something relaxed. So don't worry if you're still kind of catching up to what we're doing. You'll get it. But what's cool about Sahaja Yoga and about meditation is that eventually, not only do we meditate in the morning and in the evening before we go to bed, but we can get into a state of sustained meditation across our day. And what we're proposing for you to try out, both tonight and then maybe tomorrow through your day, is to see if by keeping attention on the spirit, we can remain in meditation, even after we've gotten up from wherever we've sat down to meditate, even if we have a lot going on in the outer world. So with that, let's see if we can experience that tonight, that sense of connection to our spirit, which we each have. It's really such a personal, kind of intimate relationship we can have with ourselves when we get into connection with our spirit. And it can be really joyful. So let's try it out. Hopefully we all have our foot soaks ready to go here. And before we put our feet in, let's just take a deep breath. And actually see if we can put our attention onto our spirit, even before we raise our Kundalini and put Bandhan. Spirit is here in the left heart area. And it's also here at the crown of our head, because all of the chakras has a station on different parts of the head. And right here in the center of the scalp is where our spirit is manifested on our head. Just see if you can feel that. And then in a very relaxed way, just with that awareness, of our spirit, we can go ahead and raise our Kundalini and put Bandhan. So the right hand wraps around the left here, rising up to the crown of the head, tying a knot. The second time tying 2. The third time 3. And before we take Bandhan, just see what you feel in your hands. And just notice where your attention is. Is it still with your spirit? And now we can take Bandhan, so the left hand stays open. The right hand makes an arc over and back 7 times. Again, just checking in. Are we just going through the motions, or are we in a state of connection, in a state of sincerity? And if we're not quite there yet, it's okay. But even asking the question expresses a desire for what you could call the state of authenticity that we reach when we are identified with our spirit, connected to our spirit. Just see where we're at. We can go ahead, taking the right hand, and make a bandhan, which is a clockwise circle, 7 times over the water. And put our feet inside. You have the option to keep your eyes closed, or if you like, you can keep them open. Look at Shri Mataji's smiling face. As we know, our attention, our pure attention, is located on the right side of our Swadhisthana chakra, which is the second chakra. So I'll just tilt this for a moment so you can see. I've got my hand here, just above my right hip bone. Go ahead and put your hand there. We can ask our Kundalini energy to nourish our attention. Please give me pure attention. Please settle my attention so that I'm able to put my attention on my spirit. Just see if you're tensing up at all. And if you are, see if you can let it relax. So having pure attention doesn't have to involve tension. In fact, one of the qualities of the spirit is lightness, joyfulness, ease. We can have a lot of depth without taking ourselves too seriously. One of the ways the spirit gets described is as a joyful witness to the drama of our lives, of the world. Just watching things play out. Now we can bring that left hand and point it towards the air, the palm facing backward over our left shoulder, just releasing any heat from our right channel. We can say inside, Mother Kundalini, please cleanse any heat, any overthinking from my right channel. We can bring that hand down. Where's our attention now? Have our thoughts quieted down? We can take our right hand and place it on the left heart, which is the seat of our spirit, of our Atma within us. That eternal spark that is utterly joyful. So we've said many times over the course of our practice of Sahaja Yoga, I am the spirit, or I am the pure spirit. Identifying with this light within us and not these outer things. The way we say this in Sanskrit is Shivoham. Shiva is the spirit. Hum means I am. Shivoham. And the qualities of the spirit, or the nature of the spirit, is three things. Sat, which means truth. Chit, which means attention or awareness. And Anand, which means joy. So we're going to learn a little song, a little mantra to greet and connect with this beautiful spirit that we each have within us. And the words are Sat, Chit, Ananda, Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. So I'll sing it once, and then we can sing it all together 3 times with our hands on the left heart. Just resting, seeing what effect this has on our meditation. Sat Chitananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham 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 Sat Chitananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham. We can take the right hand and just raise our Kundalini up 3 times slowly. Let's just be in silent meditation for a moment. We can gently open our eyes. And let's go ahead and rinse our feet, and we'll set aside our foot soak bucket. We can dump it out later. And now we'll have the opportunity to remain in this meditative state, and we'll listen to a talk of Shri Mataji's, just a brief one. I just want to mention one thing. She'll describe the Tamo and Raja gunas. The guna is a Sanskrit word for the three channels within us. So the Tamo guna is the left channel. The Raja guna is the right channel. And of course, we also have the central. So without further ado, let's stay in this meditative state and enjoy Shri Mataji's talk.
I told you yesterday what was missing in the human awareness, and that the attention was not on the spirit. But when it is on the spirit, what happens to you? Firstly, you become, according to Sanskrit words, gunatit. You go beyond all the three gunas. That means you are no more a person who is tamoguni, means the one who has got all kinds of desires of self-indulgence. Your attention moves from there to the second style where you are rajoguni, the right-sidedness. You want to do something, want to show something, you want to become something, you want to compete with others. All this struggle just disappears. Atit means beyond. Then sattva guna. That is also where you are seeking, where you see that what's wrong in this kind of extreme behavior, and you just hate that kind of life, and you want to get out of it, and then you start seeking. That also is finished. All the gunas are finished. So you become gunatit. It just happens when your attention goes to your spirit. Because now the attention is not on anyone of your inherent, we can say, or conditioned qualities or of egoistical qualities. So you become a person who is beyond this. This is something very remarkable as far as for normal life, but for you it is not. It just happens. You just enjoy being yourself. You're no more concerned about your own conveniences, comforts, and petty things. But what happens is that you just go beyond all these three gunas which have been dominating you this way or that way. All sorts of, I can tell you, designs are there that has been made into the minds of human beings. And these designs all disappear. Just disappear. I don't know how they get all these designs, from where they get it. Maybe their country, maybe their family, maybe their genes, whatever you may say. All this disappears, even your genes change. That is what is Sahaja Yoga. Where you become the spirit, everything changes. And what happens to you? That you become a person who knows what is joy, who enjoys joy, who enjoys existence, who gives joy to others, makes others happy, all the time thinks how to make others. Just it happens. Though you are brought up the same way as others are, though you are being educated the same way, maybe, but all that disappears and you become a wise, beautiful, joyous person. It's something that you have achieved of which you may not be aware. The way you are enjoying in this scout ground. No other group could have enjoyed as you have enjoyed. I can see what you are doing here and how you are enjoying. How you are enjoying the company of others is very remarkable. And that has come because your heart is full of joy of the spirit that shines within. But a person who is a Sahaja Yogi can live anywhere, can sleep anywhere. Only thing is that his spirit is there to make him happy. Nothing else. That is the one that gives you happiness. All these other ideas that human beings have, which have created problems after problem. Now you see, because you belong to a different religion, you are bad. If you want to know about the Christians, you better go and ask the Jews. And if you want to know about the Jews, better go and ask the Muslims. And if you want to know about the Muslims, go and ask the Hindus. You'll be amazed how they talk about other people, as if all of them are bad and they are the best. So this whole attitude changes completely. You forget it. Who is what, whose religion is what, from what sort of family they come in, from what is the background they are coming in. They become just one with each other. What they enjoy is the company of all the Sahaja Yogis. All the Sahaja Yogis are there, that's all. So many Sahaja Yogis will be there. And that is the Mecca, that is the Kumbh Mela, that you can call anything for it. The collective joy that you enjoy has come to you because you have crossed that barrier which has stopped you from seeing the truth. The truth is, as I said yesterday, that you are the spirit. And once you become the spirit, you become Gunatit, Kalatit and Dharmatit. Once you cross these limits, then you become like a drop in the ocean. If the drop is outside the ocean, it's always frightened of the sun because it will dry it. It doesn't know what to do, which way to slip, which way to move. But once it is one with the ocean, it just moves and enjoy because it's not alone. It's not alone. It's moving with the waves of that beautiful ocean of joy. And that is what you have achieved, of which you are aware, you know, but you don't know you have achieved it because you are the spirit. Now you should be on the watch about yourself sometimes, and you'll be amazed to see how you are changed, how you have become so simple and sensible and wise.
Let us keep our eyes closed and just remain in meditation. And let's let those words get absorbed within us without putting any effort, just staying in silence.
Okay. Let's take a deep breath. Just feel the joy of that music settling in our heart. Just notice the feet on the floor a little bit apart from each other, and just bring your hands at your sides and just let them drop towards the earth. Make your spine long so you're sitting nicely without any stiffness or tension, but just feel your Kundalini coming up the spine nicely to the top of the head. With the Mother Earth supporting us. We can then bring our hands back into our lap. We'll go ahead and take our right hand and place it on our heart. Just getting to know that feeling. Of our own spirit. Something so deep and quite unknowable through the mind. It's only in the stillness, in the silence, we wait with our attention. Letting the mystery of it reveal itself to us. Let me experience the joy of my spirit. take the fingertips of our right hand and really massage right in the center of the crown of the head. With your fingertips, you can really feel that space. And then the center of the palm, you can press down and give it a clockwise massage. Keeping your attention on your open left hand at the center of the palm. When you're ready, just raising your hand. Feel that lifting feeling at the crown of the head. With your full attention on the center of the palm of the left hand and the right hand. Relaxing the right hand back into our lap. Another nice breath as we go deeper, having our attention in the heart and the crown of the head. Let the shoulders relax. If the thoughts start to come in, we can go back to our breathing, a little slower breathing into our tummy. And then bring the right hand back onto the heart. And just feel your pure desire in your heart. I want to know the Spirit within my heart. Again, we're not trying to chase it. We're just being still. Bring your attention from the heart slowly up through your neck, the center of your head, and then to the top of the head. So the pulsation of the heart is also at the crown of the head. We can place the right hand back into the lap. Take a breath. right, let's take a nice deep breath in. You can pull your shoulders back, and as we exhale, opening our eyes, let's raise our Kundalini up. Each one of these is one of the gunas that Shri Mataji spoke about. So now we're on the central one, the Sattva guna, 3 knots. And give ourselves a nice bandhan. Bring your hand all the way down to your hip when you go over and back. Thank you. What a beautiful experience of our spirit. And I will hand it back over to Poornima.
Thank you, Kerry. So we have a few announcements. This is the course schedule. As we mentioned, we'll be meeting Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays through Tuesday, October 14th. And on the alternating days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have the opportunity to join the foot soaks for 30 minutes, same Zoom link, to end your day in the silence of the spirit. The next session is going to be this Sunday, September 21st, and we'll focus on clearing the left channel, deepening into the qualities of that channel, feeling the love there. And as always, we have lots of resources to support our growth in Sahaja Yoga. As I mentioned before, you can request a mentor either right now in the Zoom chat by filling out the form or by reaching out to someone here. And you can join the WhatsApp group. There's daily announcements, course reminders. There's also going to be a link for that in the Zoom chat. And of course, there's the live sessions like the one you're joining, but you can also watch recordings, look at handouts. It's all available on our website, which is listed here. And now we're going to move to our discussion portion, trying to keep the inner silence even as we have a little chat. So if you have any questions, you can write to chat Q&A, but if you'd like to go into a breakout room and interact more personally with a Sahaja Yoga teacher, you can just write breakout room help in the chat. And you're also welcome to write to me with any question for me, Kerry, or Kalyan. So I'll go ahead and invite them onto the screen with me, and we'll have a little reflection about this beautiful topic for this whole session of connecting with the joy of the spirit. It's a really beautiful word, this word joy. And I think one of the distinctions that we discover as we deepen into our connection with our spirit is the difference between joy and happiness. So I'm wondering if you could each talk about, how do you know the difference? Like when you feel it, how can you feel that you're in a state of joy as opposed to happiness, which might turn off and on kind of easily? I don't know. What does it feel like to you in your attention and your awareness and your life experience? Kalyan, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, what I've seen is that for happiness, there is a cause, right? There is something that makes you happy. And when that's not there, you don't have that happiness any longer. So, but joy is beyond that, right? So joy is when you feel silent inside, So for me, when I'm in meditation, that's when I feel the joy. But when I'm in thoughts, pursuing something, then it kind of, um, although I might feel happy about something, it's not a state of balance. It tends to be off and on, like you said, right? So until the time something exists, you feel happy about it, but after that, you don't feel happy about it, right? So that's how I have experienced it.
Well, what about you, Kerry?
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, happiness kind of implies attachment to something, and the heart, the spirit is detached. And it's a quieter feeling. Happiness is kind of like when you get excited and it can't sustain, right? It doesn't have a sustained energy to it. It's up and down. It has the flip side of the coin, as we say. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. It's just a quieter feeling too. It's settling. I think, the happiness, and then the converse of that is when we feel disappointed or sad about something. um, you're getting buffeted around by the conditions outside of yourself, and the attention going deep within oneself is where the joy starts to unfold kind of naturally.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with both of you. And it's interesting. As you were talking, this phrase came into my head that I feel like we're fed sometimes that we have to put on a happy face or like stay positive or think
Mhm.
happy thoughts or whatever. And I realize that that can be such a pressure, because really what that's asking us to do is to put on a mask of happiness. And one of the things I find to be such a relief about feeling connected to my spirit is that I don't have to be fake. I'm still honestly like I'm working on this. I'm learning how to like remove the happy face mask and like be real. And the beautiful thing about joy is like it can coexist with extreme difficulty. Like I was reflecting about it, and sometimes I feel like even if I'm going through such difficulties in my life, or maybe even some deep grief, there can be joy at the same time, because the joy is that settled feeling, that silence. So we feel all of our feelings, and that's okay. But there's a place, there's a refuge within that storm, or within, if it's going well, then we don't like ride too high on the roller coaster because we still have that distance from it. I'm just going to see if we've got some questions coming up in the chat here. Actually, so here's another one. In her talk, Shri Mataji spoke about this idea of going beyond even the three channels, which we've been working so much on the channels and how to clear them and how to understand them. It's a really beautiful part of Sahaja Yoga. She talked about going beyond Dharma Tit, Kala Tit, all of these ways of going beyond. I wonder if you guys could speak about that, what that feels like as well, or maybe an example in your life of a moment of maybe going beyond something that you hadn't been before, if that makes sense, like how you've experienced the ability to kind of go beyond something that you were previously entangled with through the help of the spirit. I don't know if any example springs to mind for either of you.
Well, I could talk a little bit about our body, how we're in our, like you mentioned, like this persona, and how it's almost like we're also trying to grasp something that we don't understand very well within ourselves, but it doesn't really work that way. It works by, it's sort of something that starts unfolding on its own. And sometimes we go through things, and as we meditate, we can start watching ourselves go through hardship even. And there's actually totally nothing wrong with all of these feelings that come up in our heart, you know, and not to suppress that, but just to have that center. And you sort of watch yourself going through things. And when I was talking about the body, actually, we had this talk tonight in the program, and some of the people on this program here, the 21 days, were at that place where Shri Mataji spoke. And she spoke about this scout camp and how did these people, only these meditators, you know, these people who have their realization could enjoy this spot. And when we kind of go through that physical hardship, and sometimes like getting exhausted even, you can just, sometimes you just go to this really deep place within yourself. And when you're super comfortable all the time and everything is going swimmingly, you don't always have that opportunity to get to that place, that deeper place within yourself that you didn't really understand or didn't really know existed. And it can be a really profound experience. And so I think this idea you were talking about, like, let's always stay positive and be happy all the time, we're really cheating ourselves in a way. We're bypassing all of this stuff that is part of the process, that's part of this unfolding, and really becoming who you are. And that's what's this whole idea of self-realization is it implies that everyone has this you know, this Atman within us, within our heart. And the more our attention is on that, the more that authenticity comes through. And it's, you know, it's, I think really understanding how to get to joy is being able to being able to really open yourself up to all of these experiences. So
Yeah. The body is such a plays so many tricks on us, right? Like we have all. And actually, thank you for mentioning that. You were there, weren't you, for that talk? You were one of the
yes,
there.
yes, it was just you know, just seeing it again, it's just unreal. It just takes you to another, you know, you're in this other dimension when Shri Mataji was in a place like that. And yeah, and we could go through, you know, camping out and being in, you know, like complete, I remember this hut we were staying in. It was, we went straight, you know, go from the airport to a program, you know, to hear Shri Mataji speak or listen to the music, and then to kind of be really tired and go off to this kind of hut, and you have no idea, it's completely dark. And I remember in the morning when we woke up, we were like, what on earth are we staying in? It was just really a hut, you know, and you know, the cobwebs and everything, and it just didn't matter, you know. It wasn't about the comfort, because you're just flying high on that feeling of joy, you know, being in that place where you're kind of pulled out of your life and dropped into this other dimension. So yeah, it was really incredible, and nice to hear the talk again, and listen to her talking about how do people have so much joy together in such a situation, you know.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing about that, because I think sometimes we watch these talks and it can just seem like it's in another realm, but like there's
Right.
people here who were like actually there while she was
Yeah.
sharing those.
And you know, it's just a timeless experience. And I just would like to not, you know, just to note for people, when you watch these talks and you're really, really connected, there's no time and space. It's as if you are there. So, you know, all of the things that we experienced in person, you're experiencing that with us, because we were, you know, we're sort of all connected. And those things are completely timeless. And the talks are amazing, because you could be there listening to that, and maybe years later it finally dawns on you what it was that was coming through. So, you know, they're just amazing. All of these talks that we listen to of Shri Mataji, they just have this incredible transformative effect that just, you know, spans, you know, complete time and space for all of us that are on the program. So incredible thing that we have of this legacy left behind of being able to have these videos and these talks recorded. Anyway, Kalyan, your turn.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have had different types of fear, I would say, that I think meditation has helped me overcome. Um, I mean, it may not be very significant, it could be small things, like certain things make you uncomfortable in some situations. Like you want certain things to happen. Like, for example, suddenly if a lot of workload comes on you, a lot of responsibility is put on you, and you are expected to really perform, and it's time sensitive and all that, right? I mean, you just want to disappear from there. But by, I think, just connecting to the spirit, I have felt that it's happening for a reason. It's actually good for me that it's happening that way. And so I think it kind of gives you a better state of balance to look at it. And then you also experience a little bit of your own time, right? Your own, like the space in which just you are there. And the rest of it doesn't bother you any longer. And then from that space, then you tend to come out much stronger and much more balanced in your approach to dealing with it. So then after that, the same situation becomes easier, like the way you handle it, the way you talk to people, and then you can feel that you're coming out of it very nicely, and all those things that was bothering you don't bother you any longer, and then you get that confidence that, okay, I have overcome this fear. The next time such a thing happens, I don't have to be afraid of it. So I think this sense of being one with the spirit is so powerful that you can really overcome a lot of things with it, small or large, right? I mean, over a period of time, it happens gradually, but it's kind of victories, I would say, that you get just by being one with the spirit.
Yeah. Oh, I love that word victories, because it can feel like we live so many little invisible battles, like day to day. And I also loved what you said about like, oh, I want to disappear, because, you know, I think there's so many invitations in our lives to escape from the thing that's hard. Like escape into our phones, escape into a bar of chocolate. I don't know, like whatever the thing, whatever your go-to, you know. And we do have to be compassionate with ourselves about that impulse, because it can be really difficult. But I relate to what you're saying, because I feel, first of all, an escape is never lasting, and then you still have to face the thing. And so it's like, but the quality of the spirit is that it does create that space that's beyond all those obligations. And for me, recently, what I've been feeling is like the ability to connect with my spirit. It's like an ability to hear my own voice in a loud room. You know, when my attention is more outward, the push and pull of what this person expects or what this person wants from me or whether this person is mad at me about something, like it can all be so loud and like there's all these personal dramas, and it feels like just being pulled in so many directions, that if someone even asks me like what I want or what I believe or what should be done in a situation, when the attention is outward, I'll be like, I can't even hear my own wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
But when the attention is on the spirit, it just like makes this little space where I can feel my own voice. And it's not the same as escaping into something that just drowns out all the voices, including my own and the people who are asking things of me, because that's not lasting. Instead, it makes room for choice that comes from within, not from like thinking or something. So it does feel like a victory because it feels honorable in some way. It feels honest.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. It's like, flexing a muscle and just starting to get to that point where you're like strong and your own, like from the heart, the power of your own existence is like, starts to come through. And it's, I could relate to what you were saying about work, Kalyan. But sometimes we like build up this big thing in our head. And then when we just take one step at a time, by the end of the day, I'm like, what was I so, overwhelmed about? And it's just going back inside and just going, okay, you've trained for this, you've done this, you've done hard things and faced, people's expectations or their, sometimes lack of understanding or impatience. And I think when we just face people and just speak to them from our heart and from the place where that spirit is really connecting, it changes everything. Like everything transforms around you, and you find yourself having these really joyful experiences with people. And it always comes back, for me, it always comes back to the people, right? Like everything that we're doing in our head is like disconnecting us, and everything that we're doing in our heart is connecting us. So it's this thing of like, the head is so good for a lot of things, but it's not great at some of this. I think sometimes we call it the emotional intelligence, right? The intelligence of the heart is just a completely different thing than what we're used to using to solve problems. I mean, you can solve equations with your head, but it's so much easier to use your heart to solve the human stuff. And that's the stuff that a lot of us are avoiding, and like that avoidance just, builds up, stacking bricks on this wall. And I think that this connecting with your spirit and your heart, the built-in little goodie about that is that you're so much more connected to other people and our companion animals and nature and everything. So it's like this getting this barrier out of the way of how we of how our brain tries to go about things, let me solve this, and it's just a new realm for us, I think. That's the joy. And another thing you mentioned was joy. And I just have to say this, because this happened this morning. There were like lots of emails and all that, right? And I just went, oh, let me just go in the kitchen. And I turned on the music and I found myself dancing and just kind of singing along to this song. And it just, whatever that was, just disappeared. It was just like instant. it just, that kind of block or avoidance that I had, it just disappeared.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel the joy now. So I've run out of inquiries because we're in the joy of the silence of the spirit. Is there anything else either of you would like to say before we conclude?
Not really. I think
I think
we're really
that,
experiencing the joy and the silence right now.
dance more.
Assignment accepted. Well, thank you both so much for sharing about your experiences and for the beautiful meditation and the beautiful music, Kalyan. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful rest of the night, and I hope everyone watching also gets to this silence and this joy of the spirit.
Thank
Thanks
you,
again.
everyone.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next time.